Hello, welcome. This is the 90-Day Website Mastery Podcast, the perfect companion to our 90-Day Website Mastery Program and our recently published book, Web Proud. It's our 49th episode. This episode is called How to Run an Effective Annual Website Review and Reboot Your Blog for 2026. We're excited to bring you even more valuable insights and practical advice to help you enhance your website performance and ultimately start feeling proud. I'm here with my co-host, Pascal Fintoni. Welcome.
Thank you very much. And you're right. It's a lovely agenda today because we will on occasion talk about related subject and associated subject to the world of website management and website experience. But this one is just about the website, about blogging, about content creation. And as you mentioned a moment ago, finding ways to bring joy back into the practice of running a website for you and your clients.
Like always, we have 4 segments in every episode. We have the You Ask, We Answer. We have website stories where we've chosen an article to dissect and get some reactions on. We have the website engine room where we each pick an app or a piece of kit to help you as a website manager or website owner to start feeling proud of your website and make it easier to ultimately manage your website. And then, of course, we always finish with a website call to action, one change or adjustment that you could do right now to your website. So I'm going to start, if that's all right, with You Ask, We Answer.
Now, interesting, this question was something that you and I both encountered during a session that we hosted for one of the support program. And this business of, and I think that makes sense, as we're approaching the end of this calendar year, can you believe it? We are recording this in November, and this is episode 49, everybody, as well. So, we're kind of hosting this session, and someone kind of said to us, I'd love to find a way to do like a annual website review, but I like it to be simple. So how would you, and you and I got that question, how would you structure the meeting and the review itself for a simple annual website review between me and my colleagues? What say you, Jonny Ross?
Yeah, it's a perfect time of year to be doing it. Although that doesn't mean you can't, if you haven't got the time, there's no reason why you can't do it in Q1 of the year. But Q4 is the perfect time to be doing this. And I think it gives you the ability to stand back, reflect on what you're trying to achieve as a business, what you're trying to achieve for your users on the website, and ultimately what you're hoping to be found for online as well. How do you want people to feel the brand, not just see the logo, but how do you want people to feel when they get to the website? So I think the way I'd structure it probably is around thinking about sort of the performance. So that would include things like, what's currently happening on the website, looking at things like Google Analytics, looking at things like what content's working, what content's not. I'd then think about the technical point of view. So is it, definitely working across devices? Is it fast? Is it nice and easy to use? From an SEO point of view, we want to make sure that we've not got any errors, that we are internally linking to some of our best content, making sure that we our blogs are relevant and up to date, and think about keywords. Ultimately, if we want to be found for something, are we even talking about it on our homepage? And so many times, even in just the last week, I've been sat with clients and we're talking about keywords, and I'm like, yeah, but you haven't even mentioned this on your homepage. So yeah, performance, technical, SEO. We need to think about the user experience and the sort of feel and the look and the design, and then ultimately, we're trying to convert. So have we got the buttons in the right? Have we got the right call to actions? Have we got the right buttons in the right place? Are we actually telling the user what to do and guiding them? And then probably I would finish with compliance. Really important now. Things like accessibility, things like privacy policies, cookie policies. Have we got security in place? Are we backing up the website? So there's a number of things there, but it's a perfect time to stand back, work out what we're trying to achieve, and then start reviewing some of those points.
Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you for the structure. I was in conversation with a client and I was trying to get them excited about the website review, to be honest with you, Jonny. And so I say, how do I explain this to them? And for me, it's a bit like being an athlete. You can imagine that, you're looking back at your performance and the sporting events you took part in 2025, and you're learning a lot from that, and you can bring adjustments into your training regime and the tactics. But actually, you look also ahead at the sporting events for 2026, and are they different? Are there going to be different requirements and so on? And therefore, do I change accordingly? So now we're stretching it a bit between an athlete and a website. But for me, the additional thing I would add, and maybe is to be done before the website review itself, is can we also capture our vision and ambition for next year? Because ultimately, what you'd want to do is for the website to be aligned in terms of its design, its structure, everything you've heard Jonny mention, to your future ambitions. Because I think that the danger, of course, is you do a website review almost like you would do another analogy for you, a car MOT, and you just fix and repair, shall we say, but actually you're not thinking about the journeys you're going to be doing in the future. So for me, there needs to be perhaps before, that could be done online, if the review is to be done in person, which I think is preferable, is to actually, can we discuss what we're going to do in the future? Because once we've done the website review, there has to be a discussion about, well, by the way, these are our plans for the future. And can we just look back at the website, and will the website therefore support our future ambitions? Or do we need to adjust slightly the key messaging? Do we need to review the blog section, which we'll talk about in a moment? Do we need to completely think about our case studies? All the things that we mentioned a lot in Web Prion, the book, as well as this session. So, we mustn't forget that ultimately the website, as part of your overall marketing and sales strategy, is to the service of the business vision. So can you, the leaders, make sure that this vision is captured and shared?
Yeah, I like the analogies actually, Pascal, because you always bring it, you always help bring it to life, and I like that. And also, we're not trying to get this as a tick box exercise either. It's about, like you've just mentioned there, where do we want to take ourselves in 2026? I think there is one important ingredient that we've missed here, which we totally advocate all the time, which is you can't do all of this in one go, and so it's how you bite size it down. So it's about choosing things, identifying the quick wins, identifying the sort of longer term projects, but more importantly focusing on what you believe is going to have the biggest impact versus sort of the smallest effort. So you can't do it all, but as a review you might identify it all, and then, like we always say, come up with a bit of a roadmap, come up with a bit of a plan. What could you do tomorrow? What could you do next week? What could you do next month? What could we do in Q2, Q3? And bite size it down.
Yeah. And to your point about, I've got some clients, as you do, where Q4 is just so on that wouldn't be possible. So then choose when to do your website review. So take a hint from Jonny earlier. Maybe your website review should take place in Q2 because your year is such that, it would be quite unwise to try and fit this in when Q4 is just absolutely manic for you.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move to our next segment, which is website stories.
Now, for episode 49, now typically you and I would choose some content, could be a podcast, could be an infographic, could be an article that we want to react to. And when we do the research, we think about our audience. But I hope you don't mind. But today, it's about Jonny and I, because when I saw this article, I went, you know what? This is for us. Just for once, we're going to treat ourselves, because this article is just spot on. And it kind of repeats and conveys what we've been sharing. So here's the title for you: The Time is Ripe to Reboot Blogs. And you can just, or if you're watching the video version, you can see that Jonny is excited about this already. So this was written by Louis, I'm going to say the French version, Louis Evans, SEO account director at Turg Agency. And this article was written for thedrum.com. And listen, I'm not going to be able to do justice to this great article, but it's really, really thought-provoking. But it begins, but essentially, and I suspect deep down that perhaps Louis is from our generation, where a longing for what blogging used to be in the 90s and 2000s, which is essentially that proper journaling and this intention of sharing one's learning and discoveries to help the wider community. And then I think Louis kind of indicating that they got hijacked by the marketers, because marketers spoil everything, of course, and it became this bizarre second guessing of SEO, search performance, this and the other, and then eventually people go into this bizarre behavior of social media becoming a favored platform to express yourself. So macro blogging became the thing, but actually you and I have been saying for a long, you have to go long form as well as that. So the article is really quite good because saying, that there was a time when blogging actually served a real purpose, and the intention were a bit more honourable and honest and clear than they are today. But with the advent of a two phenomenon, really, that Louise is indicating, of course, I've mentioned the search experience is changing. And by the way, Jonny and I don't subscribe to those silly articles about SEO is dead. It's not dead. It's just search experience, as we've known it for the last few years, is changing. But also, actually, as data would suggest, people are retracting from consuming social media content, actually creating social media content. So is the time right for a reboot of the blog? But be careful, and these are these words of advice. It's not just, going back to what we used to do 30 years ago and do it again now. It's actually, can we learn from, the last 2 decades and maybe create something that is more meaningful, more useful? Perhaps the term blog needs to be challenged in terms of, the labeling on the website. Is suggesting terms like knowledge center and insight and other things, whereby it's actually more precisely what it is about. But also, back to the long form, back to individuals, which I think is a hint around AI slop, being at the forefront of running this resource knowledge center, and a genuine intention, a desire to be useful and helpful to others without always second guessing the performance on the search performance and that kind of thing. So anyway, great article, but also, forgive me, John and I have been telling you for a long time now that long form was very, very important, and to nurture your blog section. And I thought that would be a great selection for today.
Yeah, I like it a lot. As you've already identified, I mean, we've both been blogging for a long time. We both believe very heavily in long form content and how it's part of the mix. I think I think blogs have lost their spark. I think in some cases they've become a bit of a keyword dumping ground, and certain businesses these are the keywords that we want to rank for. Let's just create a blog about it, and it's lost its total purpose of providing passion, or sorry, showing the passion, providing resources, providing help to the audience, and really connecting with the audience. So I think it's a perfect time to reboot your blog for 2026. I love the idea of rebranding, although I think the word blog still does mean something for certain people, so I wouldn't want to lose it completely. But I do like the idea of having that insight hub or knowledge center or resource center. I like that. But it's about how can you ensure that you're always adding value? How can you ensure that a reader, target audience, your ideal client is going to spend time, any of their valuable time, reading your content, engaging with your content? What would stop them in their tracks and think, actually, I am going to spend a few minutes reading this because actually I can see how it's going to add value? So it's based on ensuring that you're the EEAT that Google's very much pushing, and all of the engines are pushing. It's about the authority, the trustworthiness, and how you're adding value and being helpful. But I do agree, it's time for a reboot, and it's time to stop dumping keywords in your blogs.
I was thinking, I used to do, and I used to love it. And I used to do a blogging for busy businesses course in Yorkshire, where you and I, met many, many years ago. I might revisit that because I just love it. What I love about it is the platform for self-expression. And nowadays people don't want you to be an incredible copywriter or an amazing videographer. They just want to experience your reflection on that lived-in experience in terms of your specialism. And I love the idea as well of be ambitious. We can do things now where your blog section could be akin to the best industry magazine out there in a digital format.
Yeah. And it's about making sure that you're using it to really tell proper stories, that behind the scenes, the allow people to get to know you, which probably is being really missed because the brief is sort of, oh, create a blog on this topic, off you go and just get something done. But it's lost the sort of the owners behind the business, the founders, the passion within the business really coming out. The other thing, because you just made me think there, is around the layout and around the embedding different types of content of media into the blogs as well. So whether that be podcast, whether that be voice, whether it be interactive tools, whether it be audio snippets, or even embedding video into the blog as well. So making it interactive, but also, like we've said, I mean, this reminds me, like you said, we did workshops many years ago. I always said blogs should look like you would see content within a magazine or in a newspaper. It should be shorter paragraphs, bullet points, nice imagery, and so layout is so important. I mean, your slides, whenever you present anything, I know we're moving away from blogs here, but whenever you present anything, your slides are amazing, Pascal. I really do think that.
I've had great bosses and great, mentors in my younger years as a marketer. But that's true. First impressions are important, but storytelling. But also, so very quickly, because I know we need to move on to the other segment. But for me, so I said to people, all right, I get it. You want to do content to essentially satisfy the need for the search present. As if you do one for search, do another one for the soul. Because to be able to do content where you're free of all other consideration, but the desire to be helpful to people is going to change, your appreciation of the practice of blogging, but of course the running of the website. So one for search, one for the soul.
Nice summary, Pascal. Listen, let's take this opportunity to remind people that might be watching or listening. Thank you for being here. First of all, we are live. Perhaps you're with us right now. We're live on Instagram. We're live on LinkedIn. We're live on YouTube, or perhaps you're watching the replay, or we are in your ear right now, and you're listening to the podcast. And we love that. We love I think the podcast is that moment to really spend time really giving you the opportunity to reflect and think about some of the things that we're talking about. And so, take that opportunity and come up with a bit of a list of to-dos after this. But more importantly, though, leave us a review. Tell your friends. Let us know what you think as well. So come back to us, use any of our socials, give us feedback, ask us questions, and we are delighted that you join us. So I just wanted to mention that, and please do subscribe, get those notifications on so you don't miss out on future episodes. Let's move on to our third segment, which is the website engine room.
Now, in this segment of the show, John and I go out on the hunt for treasures and hidden gems on the interweb, as I call with affection, something that can make life easier as a content creator and website manager. So, Johnny, what is your discovery for episode 49?
Yeah, like always, we put links in the show notes. So just check out the show notes for any tools we mentioned. But my discovery for this one is durable.co. Durable.co. It's been around a while. And I'm not suggesting that you suddenly sign up with Durable and that becomes your business engine. That's not what I am trying to get across here. It does many things. It can sort of run your business for you. It can create the website, create the brand, become your invoicing platform. It's a one app for everything. That's not why I bring it up. The reason I bring it up is because if you're looking to develop a new website, you're looking for some new branding, and you're looking for inspiration, you're looking for ideas, you're looking for sort of maybe even to test something quickly. Wow, this product is mental. Within just a few seconds, putting a prompt in, it will literally create a website for you, and give you that visual ability to see what it might look like, what colors you might be able to use, how you may lay things out, imagery you might use, some of the content that you might use. Again, for clarity, I'm not saying you then click publish and that's your website. For you might want to, don't want to stop you, but the purpose is to get you starting to think, starting to explore, expand your mind, being able to reflect. And wow, what a tool it is to be able to do that within a split second, even on the free version, creating a website. I don't know if you've ever played with it, Pascal, but it's mental.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets better every passing month, which is just and yeah, you're right for that prototype for that. And so, we talk about website reviews and rebooting the blog, and sometimes you have to do a bit of a show and tell with your colleagues or for yourself. I mean, if you take the world of filmmaking, then very often the filmmakers would create a teaser poster, the teaser trailer, and the assumption sometimes is that it's for the future audience. Sometimes it's also for them, and it gives you a goal, it gives you something to aim for, it motivates you. So you do not underestimate the power of sketching and doodling. And if it has to be an app called Durable, then do it.
Yeah, for sure. What's yours, Pascal?
Now, I feel a bit of a fraud because this is probably the third appearance of this app. It's not my fault, Jonny, and viewers and listeners. It's getting better all the time. I'm going to bring back Notebook LM by Google. I feel a little guilty, but listen, it's absolutely incredible the way it's improved, and it's still free of charge for all of us out there. So, a couple of tips, and I'll give you the reason why it's come back. You've heard a moment ago in the first segment, Jonny and I talking to you about how to undertake an annual website review. So why don't you actually put a link to our video, to this recording in Notebook LM, and ask your AI to literally listen and look at the transcript of segment 1 and use that to put together its reaction to your website and that kind of things. Equally, you want to reboot the blog, put the link to this video on Notebook LM, ask AI to listen to this segment, and they can have a conversation by rebooting your blog. But the reason why Notebook LM is back on is because they have re-released the reports section of the studio. So in the studio element of Notebook LM, famous thing is the audio overview, which are still absolutely staggering in terms of a podcast between two people visiting your website or more. Video overviews are quite gimmicky, but they'll improve, no doubt. You've got mind mapping, which is absolutely incredible. You've got reports. Now, on one hand, I think the term report is very misleading because when you click on reports, you have some options, but what Notebook LM does, it studies your website, so long as you've shared the link to your website, and recommends content type based on your content themes. It absolutely blew me away. Now, the content written by Notebook LM is very dry because you need to educate it in terms of your style. But I was thinking, do you know what? In a business of inspiration, the business of maybe you and I having a mentoring session with a client, and the mentoring session will discuss blogging content series, we could actually say to the client, well, actually, before you come to the meeting, why don't you use Notebook LM and you come up with ideas about what the blog series could be, and then I'll bring to the fore our specialism and expertise for the last few decades. But I've done the test with several different websites, and it is always a different suggestion in terms of the 4 types of content that you should have on your website based on its core themes. I was just blown away. I will try and refrain from bringing Notebook LM again for at least a few months, but if it keeps improving, it's not my fault.
Listen, Pascal, I will absolutely let you bring Notebook LM regularly, because I'll tell you now, it's become a daily tool for me, and it's mental. And you say it's free, and it is, and the majority of our listeners will be able to use so much in there for free. I've started hitting limits. That's how much I'm using it.
Wow, well, that's going some,
It's mental, and I'm really, really pushing it, and I am also just as blown away. And listen, we are steeped in AI. We do this in a daily basis, an hourly basis. We're using AI, and I am blown away by some of the outputs that you can generate in Notebook LM. So
listen,
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, you're right. We've not spoken about this as in for this show, but we have spoken in the green room. Everybody, this is hot off the press. Jonny and I are thinking of doing a special Notebook LM training course. And we'd like to know if you'd be interested. So we've been, obviously using and pressure testing and breaking, as you heard a moment ago, Notebook LM. So we know exactly how to use Notebook LM within a context of website experience, and we're proud. Would you be interested? Let us know. It's something we're seriously, thinking of doing early next year.
Yeah, it sounds like we've set that up, but we really haven't. And we think there is actually demand. I think it's the fact that we know the power of it, isn't it? It's as simple as that. We know the power of it, and it's mental. So yeah, it would be great to let us know if that would be of any use. Listen, we're getting tight on time here. It's time for our next segment, which is the website call to action.
So this is about the one adjustment, the one action you should be taking right now to vastly improve the website experience and make your website work harder for you. Jonny, what is your call to action?
I'm bringing an old favorite back. I mean, I remember saying this in the early 2000s about blogs, bringing social sharing buttons onto the blog. And then I think over the last number of years, they've totally disappeared. I actually think bring them back in the right buttons in the right places on the right content, I think can be extremely powerful. And so, it's not sort of a blanket necessarily, but it's not, having 200 buttons, but the right buttons in the right places, I think can really on key pages or key blog posts to help get visitors to promote your content is something that we've actually moved away from, and I think we need to bring it back. So my call to action today is consider which posts or pages you could add some social sharing buttons onto your
I like
content.
the idea of being selective actually about it to make it even more special. The one that I miss, and twofold, because obviously the platform is no longer to everybody's liking, but remember the click to tweet function where you could highlight a
Absolutely.
sentence and I would create actually some visual interest as well as making that sentence, that phrase or that statement clickable or tweetable, should I say. I wish there was something like this for all of the platforms that work very well. So my selection is actually something that I've learned the hard way, where because we're approaching the end of this calendar year, it makes sense for people to be thinking about some special kind of content series a la best of 2025, looking at the best maybe of LinkedIn posts or maybe looking at the blogs and so on. But very often what happens, people are super busy and it's a bit of a rushed job. So my call to action is to prepare in advance and think two things: the structure of your best of 2025. Would it be a long form article? Would it be an ebook? So think about the structure of your best of 2025. And can you think of a system, the workflow using AI to make your life easier and actually improve the quality of what you can actually create within your time budget? But for now, structure and system so that your best of 2025, which people tend to do a lot, is not a last minute job or something that is taking far too much of your time.
Yeah, a perfect time of year to be doing it as well, which is why you brought it up. I like it. This episode has been how to run an effective annual website review and reboot your blog for 2026. We are suggesting that this is the time to stand back, to think, to have a proper look at what it is you're trying to achieve, and is your website fulfilling that that goal, that objective. And now is the time to reboot your blog. Now's the time to rethink what its purpose is and why it's there, and how you can make it way more engaging, way more helpful, visually more feel more proud of it. And that's that's ultimately what we want you to do. Feel proud of your website. Great episode again, Pascal. Thank you very much.
Not at all. It felt like we had to go back to the source, which is all about the website. So, I think it's perfect.
For sure. And hopefully we've shared some great apps and some call to actions. Have a look at the show notes. That's a wrap for episode 49 of the 90-Day Website Mastery Podcast, your audio companion to the 90-Day Website Mastery Program. For more information, visit 90daymarketingmastery.com, where you can book a discovery call with either myself or Pascal. It's goodbye for now. Do join us on the next episode. Leave us a review. Tell your friends. We'll leave you with a fun video and audio montage to enjoy whilst you review your notes and action steps. We'll see you all soon, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care. Cheers.